Welcome to Ignorantia Legis with Attorney JT. This is episode 9, September 21st, 2020. So, naka-episode 9 ito ha? Walang ibaw eh. So, I hope ready na mo diya maminaw sa atong mga discussions, no? I hope ready na mo maminaw sa atong discussions. Okay. Tapa. Then tumaadal eh. Okay, so I hope okay atong audio makaigsunan. Remember this, I'm trying to control. My microphone is out of sight. Pero I hope nga maminaw mo murag na ko sa atubangan akong microphone. Mo ba? Mo na akong effect nga gusto nga ang microphone, although far from me, it feels like, it sounds like it's there in front of me. Dili ba siya layo tanawon? Please feedback kung say resulta nini. Background na to ang organ track sa atong theme song, sa atong Simbia TV theme. Okay, now it is the 21st of September 2020. It's episode 9 of Ignorantia Legis. Now, remember, ang purpose na to is the law for the general public. Taas kaya tag discussion, data mo man na po katuig. But remember this, you can always review sa atong video catalog sa Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, wherever. Ang importante na itong pagtanawon is natay episode number, natay sequence nga ma-follow. Ang purpose nako is to give you an overview of the legal system of the Philippines. And by the way, number one, we're using the syllabus of the bar examinations as guide to let you know what are the laws, what are the topics covered by the bar exams, because in effect, that is also what is important for the citizenry. However, na specific laws that covered sa bar examinations, like mga benefits sa PhilHealth, benefits sa GSIS, on the legal issues, mga legal questions about that, di na makakover sa bar examination, nalay basic na makakover sa bar examination. Like kanang mga senior citizens, mga benefits ninyo, may be covered by the law, but not part of the bar examination. Like bayanihang law, not part of the bar examinations. So, those laws are important, but not covered by the bar. But at any rate, we didn't study all the laws, because you're not here to become lawyers. We're here to have a better understanding of what the law is all about. Okay, and that's why I'm using the bar syllabus as a guide to give you an idea of what are the subjects. Now, we cannot cover all of that. Otherwise, 4 years mo mag-discuss nga law school every day. Sa tag-law school, no? Pero karon napata sa syllabus. Now we have 2 more subjects, which is the remedial law and the legal ethics. Now I would like to summarize what were the subjects before, based on the Sundays in the bar examination. The first Sunday morning is political law and international law. Afternoon, labor law and social legislation. Actually, karon pa ko ka-memorize na. Karon pa. When I was taking the bar, I didn't know what was the next subject. Okay. So, next Sunday is civil law in the morning, taxation in the afternoon. On the third Sunday is, kung pa ta mag-discuss sa syllabus there sa program, di ko ka-memorize ani. third Sunday is mercantile law in the morning and criminal law in the afternoon. And fourth Sunday, which we're going to discuss, remedial law in the morning and how do you call this? Legal ethics and practical exercises in the afternoon. By the way, remedial law is considered to be the most difficult bar examinations. In fact, it has a weight of 20%. All the rest are 15 and 10%. I don't know the weights now. I think political law is 15%, and then labor law is 10%, something like that. Civil law is 15%, taxation is 10%, and then mercantile law is 15%, criminal law is 10%, and then remedial law is 20%, and legal ethics is 5%. Sakto. So every Sunday it's 25%, 15 plus 10. 15 plus 10, 15 plus 10. But on the last Sunday, 20 plus 5. That means 20% ang remedial law, 5% ang legal ethics. Now 20% remedial law, that means it has the biggest weight in all of the bar subjects. Why? I don't know. Because it's considered the most difficult, and it covers a huge amount of things to study. Personally, I find remedial law as, for me it's okay. For me it's okay. It's easy. For me it's easy. Now remember, when I say things like this, I graduated in 1989. You were not born yet. 1989 come graduate. You were not born yet from law school. So, and I talked about 27 years after graduation. Now, listen. I did not have a review. I would like to emphasize this because I want you to capture my technique, how I managed to do it. Because this is not something like, istorya nga. I actually did it, and I did it with, I did it with certain management. Now, in the previous, when I failed the bar, actually, for me, I didn't fail. I mean, I look at the grades right now. No, nasuko lang examiner na ako because I tried to question the questions. But ever since, when I took the bar, I said, "Oh, kaya nila." I knew, just like the previous bar in 2014 when I failed, I knew I passed it. In fact, I had a very high average for that one. Now, except I was DQ'd by one examiner. I know my score for that was very good. So, pero gilalis man ako yung question. Now, in the 2016 bar which I took, as I said, the questionnaires are given back to you, and on the questionnaires I write there my key points, keywords, my answers, so I know exactly where I stand, because I have sort of some kind of an honest evaluation of how I answered it. And I think that's the biggest problem with, I think that's the biggest problem with kuan ba, with a lot of examinees. I don't know, they don't know how to size up themselves. They don't know how to size up themselves. And they don't know how to size up themselves. And later on, the what they call this, the take the bar, they don't do a self-rating. So, I don't know. Maybe they're not confident of their answers, and you should say, if I did not get this, then I'll get 2 out of 5. You score yourself like that. There's that way. And also, for my tip for those who are reviewing for the bar, remember, I did not have I didn't attend a review center. I did not have a self-study. Yung sila self-study ka GTMs, nabuang mo. Ano kita mag-self-study ko? Kakapoy na self-study, makatug na ta after 30 minutes of reading. Kung mag-review, magani ko, attend na ko review center. At least, maniminaw lang ka dito sa maestro. Na sir. Kaysa ikaw mabasa. Di ba? I did that. Buang na tao mag-self-study, gawas kung naka-review center the previous bar. Okay, i-repeat naman gyapon na. So, useless na mag-review pagkadua. Mag-self-study lang, kaya bago pa man ka ni ang review center. Pero kung ka mag-review center, niya mag-self-study ka, niya 27 years after graduation, mura ka buwa. Di ba? So, muna atong, kuhandi na, muna itong, hunana-on din na, you should have a self-assessment. One of my self-assessment is this. I'll challenge somebody to open up a law book or any part. Open up the book and ask me a question about it. If I cannot answer, say ako weakness anak ko da. Abre mo, what is anti-crisis? What is negotiarum gestio? What is solution debiti? So, wako kibaw na gimaster ko na. Gimaster ko na unsa nang negotiarum gestio, sa anti-crisis, unsa nang solution debiti, unsa nang basta mga Latin. In fact, my preparation for the bar, na ako'y gamay ng notebook, I probably have 100 Latin expressions. And I use them. Unsa nang mora, culpa, elihindo, culpa contractual, culpa unsa nang mga pa na. So, ang remedial law is one of the most difficult bar examination subjects. And that's why it's given 20%. 20% out of 5%. Out of 20%, the highest percentage weight of any bar subject. It's difficult because it's procedural law, and that's exactly what legal practice is. You must know the procedure. But ikaw man yung magbarko, open book sa mugatanan, kay mo ito magkaskorte, prepared magod ka. Di ba? So, now, sige lang, ato ng pagkatanaon, ha? Unsay smile na. So why is remedial law the most difficult bar? Because it covers a lot of things. Pero kung buto na akong magkaigsanan, mas daghang coverage ang civil law. Yes, ako kuyawan yung ng civil law. Because civil law is divided, in the College of Law, is divided into many subjects. Probably 10 to 11 College of Law subjects are civil law. Yes. Land titles and deeds, it's civil law. Wills and succession, that's civil law. Human relations, that's civil law. Family code, that's civil law. Citizenship, that's actually civil law also. Political law and civil law at the same time. Concurrence and preference of credits, special contracts, civil law. Obligations, civil law. Contracts, civil law. Donations, civil law. Property, civil law. Sa US, lagi ka ng property law sa nakabar subject. There's just one part out of the 10 major subjects in College of Law. Civil. Mas kuyawan ko sa civil law kaysa remedial law. I know people have different ways of looking at it. Ang civil law, ang itabo ng civil law kay ang remedial procedure, they change it. So, tanaw ko, huy, 1997, remedial law, niya i-revise pa gina sila in 2019, last year. It took effect May this year, May 2020. So, niko, ha? 1997, I graduated 1989, that's 20 years, almost 20 years. We have a new, so, and I have to read in 2 days. And, siguro one of those days, ma-mention ako sa mga techniques na ko, but I got 84% in remedial law. Now, that's graded by an expert. Remember, these are grades graded by expert who doesn't know me from Adam. My handwriting is so, I don't know kung nagabasa mo sa handwriting magka-examinan. Pero, one thing for sure, huwag na ko mangaway o examiner. Ako ang examiner. And my answers were very long. Kanang iwan nila short answers, do it in 3 sentences. That's correct. Mga mga top notchers, mga 3 sentences, 4 sentences. Me, 10 sentences. Yes, sometimes 12 sentences. And if I'm going to do it, will I do it again? Long answers? Yes. And I've proven that actually it works. Because we have 3 different examiners and 3 different grading systems. But my answering system is the same. Between 6 to 10 sentences long. Points. Because each sentence is a point. Each sentence is an idea. So I have 10 ideas there to answer one problem. So probably yeah, but it's consistent. So it didn't really hurt me by giving long answers. So mercantile law 92%, political law 87%, remedial law 84%. Remember, ang passing is only 75%. And the other subjects below 80, but still very high. I think what other subjects have? Taxation might be 70% plus, diba? So my point really is this: I have a technique, and I managed to do it, and I actually executed it, and with the results. So, general principles of law. And by the way, when you study for the bar, don't study the easiest topics. Study the difficult ones, because those will be the answers. Those will be the answers. Okay. General principles. Under remedial law, recoveries now includes the revised rules of civil procedure, effective May 1, 2020, the 2019 revised rules of civil procedure, and the 2019 revised rules on evidence is considered under remedial. There are topics in remedial law. The big topics are: number 1, general principles; number 2, jurisdiction; number 3, civil procedure. So it's kind of civil procedure, Jordan. That's the entire thing. Sana maghantas title mo kapis oras. Number 4, provisional remedies. Number 5, special civil actions. Number 6, special proceedings. Number 7, criminal procedure. Number 8, evidence. Number 9, revised rules on summary procedure. Number 10, katarungang pambarangay. Number 11, rules of procedure for small claims cases. Number 12, rules of procedure for environmental cases. Number 13, alternative dispute resolution. Those are the major topics in remedial law for the bar. Pero so na mo kaigsunan ang mga top topics ana grabe. Pila ko na kalibro ng remedial law. Civil procedure, criminal procedure, special proceedings, and then evidence. Na, pinakalibro tanan. The laws relevant. Number 1, the 1987 Constitution. Okay. Sus kanang katong pag-adapt in 1987 Constitution, gawas kinadayon ng expanded jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Number 2, laws. These are relevant materials. The laws involved. Di pa nandiyan topic sa ang law rani ha. Now, each law has a lot of topics. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and like. Facebook and YouTube is there. If you can see it in your screen, it's flashing there. Laws, the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980, that's BP 129, BP 881, Omnibus Election Code of the Philippines. Oy, appeal. Although political ni election, appeal dire. Presidential Decree 103, the Code of Muslim Personal Laws of the Philippines. PD 1606 as amended by 10660, creating a special court to be known as Sandigan Bayan and for other purposes. RA 1125 as amended by RA 3457, RA 9503, and RA 9282. It is an act creating the Court of Tax Appeals. Grabe yan. Ang RA 1125, I think this 2004 ni nga law. Katulo na gamen. And then the RA 7160, Chapter 2, Section 19, which is the Local Government Code of 1991. RA, supposedly Local Government Code, appeal na sa political law. So, a certain part here, part sa remedial law. RA 7438, the rights of persons arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation. Kanidaan, gawas man is political law, gawas ni civil remedial law. Ano mga balooran? Wa pa ni sa akong pag-graduate ng obligation. Wa pa ni. RA 8043 as amended by RA 9523, Inter-Country Adoption Act of 1995. Napo ni sa sa civil law. RA 8369 as amended by RA 9775, the Family Courts Act of 1997. RA 8552 as amended by RA 8552, 10162, 11222, the Domestic Adoption Act of 1998. RA 8974, an act to facilitate the acquisition of right-of-way, site or location for national government infrastructure projects and for other purposes. RA 8975, prohibiting lower courts from issuing temporary restraining orders, preliminary injunctions, or preliminary mandatory injunctions on government infrastructure projects. RA 9048, as amended by 10172, an act authorizing the city or municipal civil registrar or the consul general to correct a clerical or typographical error in an entry and or change of first name or nickname in the civil register without stint of a judicial order, amending for this purpose Articles 376 and 4162 of the Civil Code of the Philippines. Naingon ako ba? May differences practice o sa teorya. Kani bitawang typographical error. Sus, ungari ko no ka sa administrative, pero tindugay na noon, mapay mga to kas korte. Madali pa. Kay pila na kay usa duha kay ring na siya. RA 9160 as amended by 9194, 10167, 10365, 10927, This is the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2001. RA 9165, Section 21, Comprehensive Drugs Act of 2002 as amended by 10640. RA 9262 as amended by RA 9710, 1641, Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. RA 9285, the Alternative Dispute Resolution Act. RA 9372, the Human Security Act of 2007. RA 10142, Financial Rehabilitation and Insolvency Act of 2010. And the rules of court, the 2019 proposed amendments to the 1997 Rules of Procedure. Kini bang Supreme Court ba sabot ani nila? Nang di mo lagi na usbon yung title kay proposed amendments, gianap naman di amendments na. Ang tangan ng word nga proposed. Although the circular is proposed amendment, pero inikaw man niya na pa na-propose yung title niya. The 2019 proposed amendments to the revised rules on civil rules on evidence. By the way, kung ano ha? 2019 take effect May 1, I think. The 2018 revised internal rules of the Sandigan Bayan, rules on administrative search and inspection under the Philippine Competition Act, revised rules on summary procedure, the Katarungang Pambarangay Law, administrative circular on Katarungang Pambarangay, rule on examination of a child witness, rules on electronic evidence, rule on adoption, rule on provisional orders, rules on custody of minors with writ of habeas corpus in relation to custody of minors, rule on DNA evidence, rule on the writ of amparo, special rules of courts on alternative dispute resolution, rule on the writ of habeas data, revised rules of procedure for small claims cases, rules of procedure for environmental cases, rules of procedure in election contests before the courts involving elective municipal and barangay officials, the judicial affidavit rule, the financial rehabilitation rule of procedure, revised guidelines for continuous trial of cases, the rule on cybercrime warrants, and the rule on precautionary hold departure order. So, precautionary hold departure. So, dilema o Gloria. Manay mga coverage makaigsunan sa laws, but the actual topics nga i-discuss is very wide. Ato lang discussion, i-recite ko na, pero taasan na, abot na 30 minutes na. Under the general principles, kung i-mention ganina, distinguish substantive law and remedial law, and the rule-making power of the Supreme Court, limitations on the rule-making power of the Supreme Court, nature of Philippine Court, power of the Supreme Court to amend and suspend procedural rules, the nature of Philippine courts, meaning of a court, distinguish court and judge, classification of Philippine courts, courts of original and appellate jurisdiction, courts of general and special jurisdiction, constitutional and statutory courts, courts of law and equity, principle of judicial hierarchy, doctrine of non-interference or judicial stability. Jurisdiction. Classification of jurisdiction. Distinguish original and appellate. Distinguish general and special. Distinguish exclusive and concurrent. Doctrines of hierarchy of courts and continuity of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction of various Philippine courts. Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, Sandigan Bayan, Regional Trial Courts, Family Courts, Metropolitan Trial Courts, Municipal Trial Courts, Municipal Trial Courts in cities, and Municipal Circuit Trial Courts. So, I think in our bar examination, dito'y pangutanaw unsay jurisdiction sa RTC. Sus! Can you imagine na ang RTC na siya original jurisdiction, na siya appellate jurisdiction, na siya criminal jurisdiction, na siya civil jurisdiction, na siya admiralty jurisdiction, na siya jurisdiction, it's a court of general jurisdiction. So imo nang itemize na jurisdiction respect pili amounts niya nga ma-covered niya sa like say claims or money claims or damages, exclusive interest, costs and damages. Ang main complaint, pili amount, for example correction of sum. So you have to magkalimot kang asay cut off sa MTC o sa RTC. Aspects of jurisdiction over the parties, how jurisdiction over the plaintiff is acquired, how jurisdiction over the defendant is acquired. Kanto lang ma-question na dan. Kaya grabe, there are many cases in the Supreme Court, landmark cases, when or how to acquire jurisdiction over the plaintiff or over the defendant. Especially ang defendant is Filipino but non-resident. That means he's abroad. O American siya, who is abroad, can you file a case against them? Now, jurisdiction over the subject matter. Meaning of jurisdiction over the subject matter. Distinguish jurisdiction and exercise of jurisdiction. How jurisdiction is conferred and determined. Distinguish doctrine of primary administrative jurisdiction and doctrine of exhaustion of administrative remedies. Doctrine of adherence of jurisdiction. Objections to jurisdiction over the subject matter. Lain ng jurisdiction over the parties. Lain po ng jurisdiction over the subject matter. So, napag-jurisdiction over the rest. So, sa may difference sa rest of matter, alay? Nga ang rest is matter. Matter is rest. Na di distinction nila. Distinguish the effect of stupil on objection to jurisdiction. And jurisdiction over the issues, jurisdiction over the rest or property in litigation, jurisdiction over the remedies. So, lain ang jurisdiction over the subject matter, lain ang jurisdiction over the issues, jurisdiction over the rest, jurisdiction over the property, for example, and jurisdiction over the remedies. Distinguish error of jurisdiction versus error of judgment. Distinguish jurisdiction and venue, jurisdiction over small claims, cases covered by the rules on summary procedure and barangay conciliation, how jurisdiction is determined. Civil procedure, general provisions, actions, meaning of ordinary civil actions, meaning of special civil actions. Kining special civil actions, morning gikuan ko sa ka professor sa examiner ani. Okay. Ato lang ni the examiner wrongly appreciated what I meant when I wrote it. Yes. O siya kahibaw nga kanang kining siya na ni kining ejectment is actually a special civil action. Rules, summary procedure, these are actually special civil actions. Not ejectment. Yes, murag mo na. So, the tip of my tongue, so the Spanish word na. Meaning of criminal actions, distinguish civil actions and special proceedings, personal actions and real actions, local and transitory actions, actions in rem, in personam, and quasi in rem, cause of action, meaning of cause of action, distinguish right of action and cause of action, distinguish failure to state a cause of action and lack of cause of action, test of the sufficiency of a cause of action, splitting a single cause of action and its effects, joinder and misjoinder of causes of action. Now, parties to a civil action, real parties in interest, indispensable parties, representatives as parties, necessary parties, indigent parties, alternative defendants. compulsory and permissive joinder of parties, misjoinder and non-joinder of parties, class suit. So, kining class suit sa Pilipinas, completely different sa class suit sa United States. Sa US, dali na kayo kaka-institute of class suits. Sa Pilipinas, no. In fact, ang class suit sa Pilipinas almost impossible. Yes, almost impossible. Suits against entities without juridical personality, effects of death of party litigant. Sus, among gikihan namatay. What will happen? O tangan ni Maron, si Tampulano. Tangan siya 1 million, imong gikiha. Namatay, waman ang kaso. Padayon mong kaso o dili? And then, venue of real actions, venue of personal actions, venue of actions against non-residents when the rules on venue do not apply, and effects of stipulations on venue. Pleadings, kinds of pleadings and when they should be filed. The pleading called complaint, the pleading called answer, negative defenses, negative pregnant answer. Siya negative pregnant answer. Pregnant pa, negative pa. So, dili na pregnant. Counterclaims. Compulsory counterclaim, permissive counterclaim, effect on the counterclaim when the complaint is dismissed. So, counterclaim, di kang attorney's fees, ha? Kaya balag i-dismiss ang complaint na kay magpuang attorney's fees. Cross claims. Third, fourth party complaints, complaint and intervention, reply, extensions of time to file, pleadings allowed in small claims cases and cases covered by the rules on summary procedure, parties and contents of a pleading, caption, signature and address, verification, certification against forum shopping. So, asang verification, gagmay kayong mga problem, madismiss ang kaso tungod lang, wa ma-verified. Contents of a pleading, allegations in a pleading, manner of making allegations, the conditions precedent, fraud, mistake, malice, intent, knowledge, and other condition of the mind, judgments, official documents, or acts. Pleading as an actionable document, specific denials, effect of failure to make specific denials when a specific denial requires an oath. Na may denial nga pag-i-oath. O sabutan na itong Philippine laws. Kanang denial mo, under oath naman ta na. Napag-specific denial nga under oath. Effects of failure to plead. Effects of failure to plead. Failure to plead defenses and objections, failure to plead a compulsory counterclaim, and cross-claim default. Default. When a declaration of default is proper, effect of an order of default, tindaghanan na niyo makaigsunan. Wapat abot sa summons, motions, dismissal of actions, pre-trial, intervention, subpoena, computation of time, modes of discovery, trial, demurrer to evidence, judgments and final orders, post-judgment remedies. All of these dakhan kasi mga subtopics. Execution, satisfaction, and effect of judgments. Your provisional remedies, jurisdiction, over provisional remedies, o din ng 20% siya, pero taas ang coverage. Preliminary attachment, preliminary injunction, receivership, prevent, provisional remedies and interim reliefs under special laws, special civil actions, distinguished ordinary civil actions, special civil actions, jurisdiction, venue, interpreter, requisites for interpreter, when to file, declaratory reliefs and similar remedies, review judgment and final order, certiorari provision mandamus, quo warranto, expropriation, foreclosure, and real estate mortgage, partition, forcible entry, and full return. Ang kuan ni siya, action publicana, action revindicatoria, unya katong mga so forcible entry and lawful retainer, as I said, mga ejectment. There are special civil actions actually, but rule summary procedure coverage as a rule and summary procedure. Itong naglalis may ng examiner. Contempt and special proceedings. Yan, special proceedings Anyway, salamat sa kong pag-iguban kana ko maghiyon kay kuan na magita kanang asa man ng oras kuan lang kita. So subscribe na mo. Thank you and good afternoon. Kini ang atong episode 9 sa Ignorantia Legis, and this is September 21, 2020 with JT Benz. Salamat sa pag-uban kana ko.